Our first question is for Tazeen. Why is a strategic planning process important?
So a strategic planning is important to an organization because it provides a sense of direction and outlines measurable goals. It also provides a clear direction for the overall organization, bringing the subcommittees together collectively, and provides a clear place for where organizations can fit into the process. Strategic planning is a tool that is useful for guiding day-to-day decisions, for subcommittees to work towards their particular strategy, and also for evaluating progress and changing approaches when moving forward with the plan.
And what do you need to get, what do you need to have to get started in your strategic planning process?
Data. Data is important because it's a way to describe the community and what is happening in order to define your problem. Data can provide a more accurate picture of the community than anecdotal information or perceptions. It's critical to know what data is available and where to find it. Sharing and developing a common set of data is important for collaborative efforts. Data provides a clear focus and helps to set goals, and helps also to avoid the detours caused by things that don't fit. Data can show impact. Did the plan accomplish what it set out to do? And does the plan need to be tweaked along the way? Data is an important way to measure those things.
Tiffany, as you begin a strategic planning process, what partners do you need to have at the table, and how do you engage them?
So anyone who would like to be involved in the community, that would like to collaborate or contribute to the solution. You want to connect and create new relationships while you're working to maybe renew or revive old ones or past ones. Each partner comes together and you want to form a cohesive team because each person, or entity, contributes to a different piece. How we did it in our county, we sent out a lot of emails, invitations. We connected with them verbally, and then we also built a team based on who they know and how they can engage them and who they are already working with.
How do you complete a strategic plan?
So there are various elements to consider when you're completing the strategic plan map. And one of them was spoken earlier and about the data piece, and that's what's going to drive that whole process. Two is identifying your goals, your statement, so that you can hone in on your problem of practice and your priority population. Next, you will be looking at causal factors as well as root causes. You'll be digging into your community, and that there's a place for that on the map. Once you determine those, you'll be identifying strategies, lead agencies, and budgeting for your work. Also, the strategic timeline is important because you'll be working through the theory of community change to impact both shorter and longer term outcomes.
Strategic plan map.
So to complete a strategic plan map, it worked for us as most effective to include our partners, involving them in the process. In Fairfield County, we broke the map down into sections, and that seemed to be more helpful for the group and less overwhelming. We then brainstormed the causal factors, and then asked that important question, but why here? To brainstorm our more specific root causes. So the strategic map also addresses those measurable goals that are not only short-term, but mid-term, and then the overall goal. The strategy piece was done last, and again, the group brainstormed and prioritized those evidence-based strategies for us to use in the strategic plan map.
And how do you identify strategies in your strategic planning process?
Well, the first thing I would say is don't hurry. And it was really hard for our group in Fairfield County to not jump into coming up with strategies before we completed the plan. Everybody has some solution to the problem being that without looking at the overall picture, you're just sort of spraying water on a burning fire without attacking it in the most effective way. So we broke Fairfield County Task Force down into subcommittees, and we had advocacy, prevention, education, treatment, recovery supports, and advocacy. We knew that stigma was going to be an issue across the board in all the subcommittees. And each subcommittee developed its own set of strategies for the specific things that were identified that people wanted to accomplish. So we have one larger group that meets for a half an hour and we talk about the work that we're doing, and sometimes we provide education, and then that second half an hour we break the subcommittees down and they're able to work in their particular area. So yeah, I think that the biggest thing for us, again, was just not jumping in and coming up with strategies without looking at the overall planning process.
Tell me, what lessons learned came from engaging in the CCIM4C strategic planning process?
Well, I think there have been lots of lessons learned specific to the strategic planning process. I'd like to highlight four. First is keeping in mind some other community planning processes that might be happening. Many local health departments are working on community health improvement plans. Hospitals work on community health assessments. So keeping those in mind and working with those other assessment efforts can help reduce redundancy and help to ensure that your plan is aligned with other things that are going on in the community. The second thing is understanding that the strategic planning documents are living documents. So they're constantly going to be changing. So you can really use those strategic planning documents as a progress checker and revise those as necessary to keep up with what's happening in your community. I would say think about ways to engage new partners, but also old partners in new ways. So how can current partners that you may be working with, what are other ways you might be able to engage with them that you've not thought about, or other ways that they can contribute to the process where they may not have contributed in the past? And then I would say celebrate some short-term goals and some short-term wins. I think it's important. A lot of times we get bogged down in the overall goal or the end goal, and we forget to celebrate some of those short-term, some of those easy wins.